I was reading a newspaper, and in this newspaper was a guest opinion by someone named Burk, and the title of her article was "Paying the Pink Tax." Her whole premise of this guest opinion was that women only think that they know how much tax they pay, whether it comes to income taxes or sales taxes or what have you. Then she goes on to say that she's been paying one tax all of her life that she thinks other women do not know about. Again, she calls this the pink tax. Right? What is this pink tax, according to Burk? It's the difference in price between what a man pays for a product and a woman pays for a product. And she goes down a whole list of products, and from razors to clothes to haircuts, and runs down to how much more they cost women than they do men. Now, this is not a tax. It's applying products and services to a different market. If women are paying more for these products and services, it isn't anyone's fault but their own. No one is holding a gun to the head of a woman that is paying more for a product. If they don't want to pay more for a product, they need to stop supporting businesses and suppliers that charge more for a product. Simple as that. This practice will stop if women don't support businesses that charge higher for these products. If women continue to support businesses that supply these products at higher prices, they perceive that there is value to what that company is offering. Otherwise, they would not be doing that. This is an entirely a market-driven situation. It is not a tax. I even emailed this Burk about this. She is being intellectually dishonest. She is trying to manipulate people that are less educated than she is, even by saying something like this. I emailed her and I said that this is not a tax. A tax by definition is what a government charges on a product, and the government receives that money. A difference in price between two products is not a tax. Furthermore, I reiterated the point that I just made, that when marketing a product to a certain group of people, if there is a price difference those people are willing to pay, that is because it's a different market. Marketing to men and marketing to women are two very different markets. The women paying for these products perceive there to be a value in that product, or they would not be buying that product. And if women are really concerned about this, they need to stop supporting these businesses that charge the additional amount. It is simple. It is as simple as that. Now, another thing in this article, again, it's called Paying the Pink Tax. You can look it up. It's on her website. It's at various newspapers. Burk goes on to talk about how the Republicans were trying to undermine the Affordable Care Act. This is something else I included in my email to her. The Affordable Care Act, and I've said this before because I posted a video on the Affordable Care Act. In that Affordable Care Act, there is a 2.3% excise tax. Again, an excise tax is a tax on revenue. That means that a company must pay that tax before they pay any utilities, any rent, on any debt, on any labor, on any other expense. As such, that small percentage can really add up because it's a tax on revenue. And that tax cut the profitability of the company I worked for prior from $100 million to $50 million. Just like that, the government takes that much money out of the company. Thousands of people lost their jobs just at that one company by the government taxing that amount of money out of the company. Most of the people that work for that company are women. The vast majority of people that work for that company are women. Furthermore, that company paid well. It paid well. It paid better than most people make regardless of gender. And thousands of people lost their jobs. And yet she accuses Republicans of opposing Obamacare, of trying to undermine it, and in opposing Obamacare, she accuses Republicans of attacking women. This law, this Obamacare law, this Affordable Care Act, itself attacks women. Thousands of them lost that job at just that one company that I worked for. That is an attack on women. That undermined their livelihood. That laid them off in a time when Americans are having a difficult time finding jobs. This law is an attack on Americans, and it's also an attack on women. And if you work in a medical device manufacturing company, that is an attack on that sector of the economy. And the company I worked for actually fared better than many others because some ran on a slimmer profit margin yet, and that tax caused them to start losing money. I'd hate to see what the layoffs were like at those companies. Now, I said I emailed this Martha Burk. I was polite. I laid out a well-researched, well-reasoned argument as to why this pink tax is not one, and as to why this Obamacare is a bad idea that undermines the economy. It undermines research into medical devices. It undermines improvement in medical devices. And it's cost a lot of people of both genders their jobs. And she wrote back with a one-line reply that I don't need you to instruct me, although you seem to think you need to instruct me. And she also said, I don't care about your wrong-headed opinions. First off, I didn't write to instruct her. I wrote to her in an attempt to engage in a logical discussion because I thought she made some logical errors in her opinion piece. And she did make logical errors in that opinion piece. In typical leftist fashion, Martha Burk basically attacks me personally. I have a thick skin. I'm used to that sort of thing. But that is no substitute for a logical discussion or a logical argument. But that is how you know when you've won an argument against a leftist. And to broadly dismiss my ideas that were well-researched and well-written and logically constructed as wrong-headed is just broadly brushing off ideas when a person does not want to consider them. And I deal with this from leftists all the time. They do not argue logically because they cannot argue logically. They broadly dismiss ideas as wrong-headed or mere rhetoric. Fact-based arguments that are logically constructed are not mere rhetoric, but a leftist will, time and time again, dismiss such things as mere rhetoric. That's if they aren't calling you every four-letter name in the book.